2 weeks ago, NIU remained undefeated in the MAC and continued their stellar season with a 35-23 victory over Ball State. Jordan Lynch threw for 195 yards and ran for another 207 in the double-digit victory. This improved the Huskies' record to 5-1 overall as they got ready for their homecoming game against the Buffalo Bowl. Hello, welcome to our third installment of Top Shelf Sports. I'm Eric Salmon.
And I'm Eli Gain, and boy, I got to tell you, Eric, we have a great show for you guys today. Special guest is in the studio tonight. We have Jordan Lynch in here to talk about the season. But first, we're going to take you to the homecoming game that happened on Saturday against the Buffalo Bulls. And I got to tell you, right away, the Huskies always getting off to quick starts. They did it this time again. Jordan Lynch, he's going to fake the pitch here to Leighton Settle, gets it to Deron Brown, puts the stiff arm on the guy from the 12-yard line, gets in from 12 yards out, 7-0 NIU. And then the next possession, it's Akeem Daniels. He's going to take the option here to the right side. Wide open, he's going to get himself into the end zone. He had 3 carries for 15 yards and a score on the afternoon. And Lynch, been running on people all year. He's going to do it on this one. Takes it to the left of the line, plows through about 4 Buffalo Bulls to get into the end zone, extending that Huskies lead. And then here's another big run. I actually thought, I thought he was going to take this one to the house like he usually does, but he ends up getting caught here at about the 47-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds. And you know what, Eric? He can't only run, he can pass it too. He finds Luke Ekus here for 43 yards down to the 4-yard lines. It seems like Ekus, he just gets pass plays of over 30 yards all the time. And then a couple plays later, Lynch is going to call his own number again, punches into the end zone for another 4 yards. Puts NIU up 28-3.
The fist
and
bump.
then, you got to love it when he punches the air. And this defense, they put that pressure on that quarterback. Head coach Dave Doran, after the game, said that this was the most complete game he's seen the Huskies play in his 2 seasons. They got to the quarterback 5 times on the afternoon, putting all that pressure on. Got to love it. And they also forced 2 interceptions, both of them by Marlon Moore. This one's in the end zone. He ended up winning MAC Defensive Player of the Week for his performance, and the Huskies take the big win here over Buffalo, 45-3 on homecoming. Jordan Lynch went 13 of 20, 232 and 2 touchdowns. He added another 2 on the ground with 131 yards. His main target, Martell Moore, had 8 receptions for 133 yards. NIU 6-1 now on the year, 6 straight wins. They're now 3-0 in the MAC.
And joining us now is NIU quarterback Jordan Lynch. Jordan, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we want to talk about, you guys have had a lot of home games this season, and now you guys are going to be hitting the road for the next 2 weekends here. Now, if you count the NIU at Iowa Soldier Field, at the Soldier Field game, I don't know if I would call that a home game. What would you say is the difference when you guys are playing away from Husky Stadium compared to when you're having these close games with these teams on the road?
All right, definitely. We got to, play against their fans. They have tons of support from their fans and everything. And it's always tough to go on the road and play, but, we consider ourselves a championship team, and that's what championship teams do.
You've had some incredible runs all season long, 70-yard runs, big runs. I'm just curious, what goes through your mind when you see the seam and you just break through, you're about to score? What's going through your mind at that moment?
Right, I always have a saying, the great ones seam it. And whenever I see a seam, I always think of the end zone and, just think of touchdown.
Now, Jordan, can you talk about the offensive line heading into this season? They were the biggest question mark, I think. They had 4 of your starters were gone, and then Pegram got hurt at the beginning of the year, and you had all these new guys coming in. How have they been able to adjust to the offense this season?
Yeah, I think they're doing a great job so far. Chemistry, that's the biggest thing. We've been working on that every week. I live with 3 guys, 3 offensive linemen, the starters. So I think that's, key and been helping. We watch film together, so, I think they've been doing a great job, outstanding job.
You are 4th in the nation in rushing right now, which is incredible. When you hear that, what do you think? What does that make you think when you hear that you're 4th in the nation?
Yeah, definitely give the credit to my offensive line and, the receivers. I have tons of playmakers around me that, open the holes for me. And, they give me the, many opportunities, score and make long runs.
Now last year, obviously, Chandler Harnish, starting quarterback, broke all the records here at NIU. You actually got some playing time last year too, so you weren't completely new to this when you guys came in this season. But how have you seen your game change compared to last season heading into this season without Harnish, being behind Chandler Harnish?
Right. When I used to come in for Chandler, it was pretty much just to run the ball or some mop-up time. But now, full starter, I'm running the whole offense. So I got to make, all my checks and everything. And, I'm not in there just to run the ball anymore. In there to make the, keys.
Talk a little bit about Coach Doran. This is his second full year, and obviously his system now is in its second year. What have you learned from him specifically, and what has he taught the team?
Yeah, definitely leadership standpoint from Coach Doran. He's a great example. Always talking to me about leadership and how to teach these guys how to lead and take the younger guys under my wing.
How hard was it to make that transition from last year and doing that this year? Was it kind of a challenge at all to be able to kind of become the leader of the offense?
No, I think it's. I think I was born with leadership. I think it comes natural to me. So it's something I took over in high school, and I knew when my time would come, I would take over.
What is the best part about being the starting quarterback in Northern Illinois?
Just everyone looking up to you. Pressure. I think pressure is a privilege, and I take great pride in that. So people looking up to me and just being their leader.
Well, Jordan, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to come in and talk with us about this weekend's game and the season. Good luck to you guys against Akron, all right?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Jordan. Coming up, your highlights for the NIU volleyball team and the women's and men's soccer teams.
And later, we break down some NFL action from Week 6. And hey, that's not the only thing. We take a look at the AL and NL Championship Series games. Stay tuned.
Time to end this suffering. I need a minute to myself. Welcome back to Top Shelf Sports.
Welcome back to Top Shelf Sports. We're going to switch from Husky Stadium to Victory Court, where the girls' volleyball team has played in a number of games recently. And Eli, the girls have played pretty well so far.
Oh, they have. And then, and it seems like they do this every year. Once they start getting into these bulk of the conference games as the season winds down, they keep on getting hotter and hotter come tournament time. Now, 2 weeks ago, the Western Michigan Broncos came to Victory Court. NIU was coming off of a 2-match win streak, but they couldn't win a set against Western Michigan. The Broncos took the match in 3 straight sets, giving NIU their 8th loss on the year. It was a very good match, though, Eric. Every Bronco set that they won, it was only by at least 4 points. So it was a tough loss for the Huskies, but it would all turn around because you know what? Sometimes you need those hard games to swallow, because just 2 days later, the Huskies turned the tables against Miami of Ohio by winning 3 straight sets of their own. Megan Romo and Mackenzie Roddy each had 13 kills, and that freshman, Alexis Gonzalez, had 33 assists. And then just over homecoming, NIU got on another roll. The first one was Friday night against the Buffalo Bulls. And you know what, Eric? You know how just the football team put a beat down on the Bulls on the gridiron? Well, the volleyball team did it against the Buffalo Bulls on the hard court. NIU opened up a can by winning in 3 straight sets to take their winning streak to 2 games. And then just the next night, on to the Saturday night, this was right after the football game, the Zips came into town, and the Huskies again got the victory. But, this win was a little bit harder to get. NIU had to go all 5 sets in order to improve their winning streak to 3 games. And with that, the volleyball team has now won 7 of their last 10 matches. Now the Huskies will hit the road this upcoming weekend for 2 straight road games.
Well, hopefully they can keep that streak going, and I bet the NIU soccer teams are wishing for some of those wins to come their way.
Yeah, no kidding.
The Huskies welcome the Miami Redhawks to DeKalb. Miami was heavily favored, coming in at 13-2 on the year. First goal there by Dolish on for the Redhawks. They're up 1-0, and here is Dingus. Look at the long goal, bending it like Beckham, 2-0. Would that be it for the Huskies? Shelby Johnson says, I don't think so. She puts in her second goal of the year. And then it is Gabo's turn for the Huskies, tying the game at 2 apiece. Now it will be 2-2 with under a minute left. The Redhawks with an opportunity here to get the win, but miss it up top. And with just 5 seconds left, Dingus with a game-winning goal. The Redhawks stun the NIU Huskies with a 3-2 win. And it was a wet day at Husky Stadium just 2 days later as they welcome Ball State to DeKalb. Early first period, Sarah Orsh kicks a laser past Amy Carr, giving the Cardinals the early lead. And that was all the offense that they needed. Amy Bueller did a great job in goal for Ball State. And despite this great save by Amy Carr, there was no offense existed for the Huskies, and they dropped the game 1-0.
And then the men's team, they also played over homecoming. This was on Saturday afternoon before the NIU game. Just 2 minutes in, Phil Fives, what a cool name, dude.
Very cool.
Takes the crossing pass from Dylan Cerna to put Akron up 1-0. And then, just a couple minutes later, Akron almost gets another goal, but it goes off the crossbar. It does go in the net, but it's called back because they were offsides. These teams, conference rivals, don't like each other too much. A little scuffle breaks out here in the second half. People talking about each other's mamas, their grandmamas, maybe some siblings, whatever. And all trash talk aside, NIU couldn't get anything to go in the net. Akron goes on to get this game 2-2.
Stay tuned. You're watching Top Shelf Sports.
Welcome back to Top Shelf Sports. We like to do a little thing around here called 3 strikes, right, Eric?
Yes, we do. Oh, yeah. Our first strike is going to be the NIU men's soccer team.
Yeah.
We love it over here. Our first strike is going to be the NIU men's soccer team. Last year, the team won conference, but this year, it's been a very different story, unfortunately. What do you think has been the biggest problem this year for the men's soccer team?
Well, I think the biggest difference from last season was how the team started. Last season, NIU, they got off to a 9-1 start to open the year. And, I think that gave them, a lot of confidence and motivation, heading into those games, and especially the conference games. Now, this year, they couldn't get a win until about a month into the season. Right now, 2-1 in conference play, not too bad. Still a few more conference games to go, which means a lot to them. It's pretty much a clean slate once you start conference play. And hopefully, goaltender Jordan Godsey, he had a great year last year. He hasn't done so well this year. So hopefully, in these next few games, he can step his game up as the season comes to a close. And now, moving on from the men's team to the women's team, who have also had a different year from last year, but this time it's actually in a good way. Why is that, Eric?
Well, absolutely. The women's soccer team last year went just 2-15-2. This year's team has shown a lot of improvements. The Huskies already surpassed last year's conference win mark and actually have a better record on the road than at home. Corey Fragenberg is leading the team with 12 points, and Amy Carr has been impressive with 39 saves on the season. With both of them being just juniors, the Huskies have a lot to look forward to in the future.
Oh, absolutely.
They have a record of 6-7-2 this year, but their record doesn't really reflect how close they've been in a lot of games.
They have been close in a lot of games. They've been like double overtime losses, it seems, every time.
Absolutely. Their record does not reflect how they're doing.
No, it does not.
From NIU to the NFL, the season is 6 weeks in, and I don't know if we've seen enough from certain teams to see if they're legit or not.
Right, yeah. Every season you kind of get a feeling which teams are going to be there in the long run and which ones aren't exactly going to make a push for the playoffs, but it is still early. You're only about a third of the way through the season. So here's what I want to ask. Who has been the team that has surprised you the most so far, and which team has let you down?
There have been a lot of surprises so far this season, but my biggest surprise is the Miami Dolphins, specifically quarterback Ryan Tannehill.
That's a hot girlfriend, too.
Beautiful girlfriend. Coming out of the draft, I thought he was probably a couple years away, but he's really shown a lot of poise. Reggie Bush has run the ball well, and the defense has come together in the past couple games. Now, all 4 teams, Eli, are 3-3 in their division, and I still think the Dolphins are a couple years away, don't get me wrong, but I have been very impressed so far. After making the playoffs last year, Detroit has really struggled. That's probably my biggest disappointment.
I knew it would happen.
Calvin Johnson doesn't look nearly as relevant as last year. Matthew Stafford has missed a lot of passes that he would usually get, and the running game has been non-existent. I see the Lions getting it together a little bit, but certainly not how they was expected. What do you think?
Well, besides the overall NFC West in general, I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals. They got off to a great start. They were 4-0, but they've lost their last 2 games. I don't see the success continuing with this team. They got both running backs down and out. They still don't even know who they have at quarterback, but still getting off to a 4-win start is impressive. For my disappointment team, I got to go with the Pats. Sitting at 3-3 after being a possible Super Bowl favorite once the year began. They've had the opportunities to win games. They just haven't been able to close them, like this one that was just on Sunday. Russell Wilson beat them, but all in all, I think they will turn it around in that weak AFC East division, so watch out for those Patriots.
I think honorable mention there goes to the New Orleans Saints as well as a disappointment.
Right.
They have been terrible. Let's go to some NFL highlights. Vikings taking out the Redskins. Vikings down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. Christian Ponder finds the wrong team. Madu Williams, what are you doing, Christian? Williams will take it all the way back to the end zone, and the game looked out of hand, but Christian Ponder says, no way is this game out of hand. Play action fake, throws it to Rudolph in the end zone, touchdown. And then with under 3 minutes left, Robert Griffin says, you're not winning this game, Minnesota. He takes the ball 76 yards. Look at the speed.
4.140 is what they looked at that.
Unbelievable. The longest run by a quarterback, Eli, in 14 years.
Yeah, Lions paying a visit to Philly to take on the Eagles. Matt Stafford, what's he running for? He tries to do a LaDainian Tomlinson and everything. Pulls the Lions to within 3. Then that lead didn't last long. Look at Jeremy Maclin. This is how I play in Madden. You know, I'm always scoring points. Maclin takes it all the way to the end zone. Gives them a 23-20 lead, but Jason Hanson gets, with the time winding down, gets the game to go into overtime with that field goal tied at 23. And Hanson, again, dude's like 49 years old, gets this one. The Lions get their second win of the year with that field goal in overtime.
Jim Schwartz is excited about that.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Falcons trying to stay undefeated against the Raiders. Matt Ryan, great season so far. Terrible first half, 3 interceptions. We're going to take it to the fourth, 3 minutes left. Tie game, Carson Palmer, interception. Asante Samuel, he is going to take it all the way. Watch Carson Palmer here. Nah, you're not going to catch him. All the way to the end zone. 2013, game looked over, but Raiders are at midfield. Here's the pass over to Hagan. Derek Hagan looks like he's going to take a whoop. Look at the nifty move inside the 5. They would score, but just like 2 weeks ago, Matt Bryant, a far field goal to win it, preserving the perfect season for the Falcons.
And the Green Bay Packers, they had the late game Sunday night against the undefeated Houston Texans, and well, you know, the Packers, they played like they were expected to this year. Rodgers dominated, hooks up with Jordy Nelson there, and then he hooks up with him again here. Nelson had 3 touchdowns on the game. Here's Arian Foster cutting the score to 28-17. Foster gave me some points in fantasy. I liked it. And then here's Rodgers again. Look at this catch by James Jones. Ridiculous. Packers cruise and get this win, 42-24. And the Week 6 top shelf performance belonged to Aaron Rodgers. You know, he had 6 touchdowns, like I mentioned, 338 yards. Sean Green, I even benched him in fantasy, by the way. You know, I can't believe he did. It just goes off and gets 3 touchdowns, 161 yards. And, of course, Bob Griffin, the third, 3 total touchdowns and 138 yards on the ground. So, whew, it's a lot of NFL action right there, right?
And Sean Green has been struggling all season long.
I know. I
bet we both benched him, and he goes crazy.
The amount of points that he had this past Sunday is about twice as many as he's had all year already.
I lost in fantasy this week. I'm disappointed.
Not me.
There were a lot of good MLB games this season, this weekend too. Not just football. So we're gonna go take you to the first game, which is Cardinals-Giants. Cardinals up 1-0 in that series. Look at this play right here. The play's going to be at second base. Matt Holliday takes out Marco Scutaro. We're going to show you the replay. Scutaro's going to stay down on the play. After the game, his teammate Hunter Pence said when a play like that happens, it pumps you up and you want to put it on the scoreboard. Marco Scutaro had that opportunity in the fourth. He will drill it to left field. Driving it was through the legs of Matt Holliday. Talk about karma. 3 runs will score, 5-1 Giants. And then just for good measure, former Cub Ryan Theriot, bases loaded, 8th inning, drives in 2 more. And that would be the equalizer, 7-1. Giants win the game and tie the series at 1.
Very nice. Well, Justin Verlander last night looking to improve the Tigers to 3-0 in the postseason. He's been dominant, dude. He's been completely dominant all year. 4th inning, no score, but Delman Young says, you know what? I don't like a scoreless game. I want to put one on the board. Takes it to left field, puts the Tigers up 1-0, then bottom of the 5th, Triple Crown winner, Miguel Cabrera. I think he's the MVP as well. Yeah. RBI double for him. Tigers go up 2-0, and that is usually more than enough for Verlander, you would think. He pitched very well, going 8 1/3 innings, giving up just 3 hits and 1 earned run. 9th inning, Yankees threatening with 2 men on, but Phil Coke gets Raul Ibanez swinging here. He had to have been the hero so far in the playoffs for New York. Not this time. Tigers 1 win away from that all-important World Series. Gotta love it, right? Getting close.
Absolutely, and if a lot of people tuned into our last Top Shelf, I picked the Tigers to win the World Series, so I'm pretty happy.
I picked like the Athletics and the Nationals, and both of them were gone pretty early, but that's okay.
All right, well, we had a big show today. We got a lot covered.
Yes, we did. You know, we want to, again, thank Jordan Lynch for taking some time out of his busy, you know, schedule, practice and everything.
Really
Just come in and sit down and talk with us. You know, so for Eli Gain, I'm Eli Gain. This is Eric Solomon.
We got confused. Thank you, everybody.
Always.
Take care.
We look the same, too.